What's up, everybody?
Hi, guys.
Every Day with H and K here. I'm Kadero.
And this, I'm Kadero.
Gotcha.
And this,
I gotcha.
You did get me. Dang.
And welcome to another relationship talk.
That's what we say. That's what we doing.
What I say last time? Relationship topic talk.
Yep. Will we what? Shoot the breeze.
Oh my gosh. Anywho,
Yep.
First things first, make sure you subscribe
Right
to
there.
our channel. Right there.
Yep.
Do that.
Do that.
We appreciate you
Do that.
coming on here, and
Yeah.
let's get talking about some relationship things. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
A
Yeah.
relationship. This one's a doozy.
A doozy.
This is a doozy.
It's a doozy.
What is this one?
So we are actually talking about compromising in a relationship.
Compromise.
And we are just going to speak from our marriage. I mean,
Our marriage, huh? We ain't experts.
We're not experts.
So we coming from our marriage, our experience.
Our experiences.
And what we've seen.
Yes. And I think that first, like, before we can even talk about it, kind of like defining what it is before we get into the meat and potatoes of some things.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess compromising, and this is no sort of like Webster's.
She ain't got the Webster Dictionary on this compromise.
I don't.
She's just making up her own.
Pretty much. But it's showing consideration, and it's showing that you want to make decisions together.
Yeah.
And it's coming up with a way that both people involved will be satisfied with the outcome.
Yeah. Which I think is
Fair.
I think it's relationships in general.
Yes.
Because when you truly think about a relationship, and even when you're talking about marriage, like it is two different people coming from different backgrounds, different scenarios of life, with their own thoughts, their own opinions. My stock in life, her stock in life, and now how do we bring it together or meet in the middle to come up what we value most?
Yes.
And come up with a compromise to get both sides' agendas, per se, accomplished.
Yeah.
So it's unique. It's just such a unique aspect in a relationship and compromising. But I think the key to it all, which is the key to relationships in general, the big umbrella, communication.
Y'all should know
we gotta
by
talk
now.
about it. You gotta talk about compromise. You gotta talk about the issues. You gotta talk. Communication is going to be the key, and it is the very foundation of compromising. Is the communication piece.
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting too, because like compromising to me, and I'm just going to be a little vulnerable here with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because Kadero used to always say things to the nature of like, you know, a person always being right, or feel like they always got to be right. You know what I'm saying? And I have what I feel been delivered from that spirit.
No, that spirit of being right, huh? She's been delivered, she says. But the enemy likes to creep back up. Just saying.
I can't stand you.
Just like a good word. he be lurking. The enemy be lurking sometimes on you, huh? But she has gotten extremely better.
Thank you.
Extremely.
Thank you. So I think compromising is definitely looking at the aspect of I don't always have to be right or always have to have my way, because you know a lot of people say, and this gets me every time, happy wife, happy life, right? And for me and Kadero, we come from happy spouse, happy house.
Boom.
Because it's not about in a relationship one person always being right or one person always having their way. So I think, you know, both people involved have to look at it more so from like, all right, you know, what's going to make both of us happy? Like, it's not always about me. It's not always about him. So it's like, what can we do to make sure that everybody's feeling heard and everybody's needs are being considered?
Yeah, that's good, because I think that helps make compromising easier when you're thinking like that. That's kind of one of the tips I had with how to make compromising easier is thinking of what I call the third option. And that's your option, my option, the middle option of us both taking what we want and combining them and finding that middle ground. It's the third option.
Absolutely.
And we can all come up with that third option and move forward with that third option if we both are willing to, give a little.
Yeah, that part.
And I love it when people usually say it's give and take. It's, I don't even think of it as take. Giving up something I wanted to help her.
Yeah.
I'm still serving my wife and giving up. I'm still giving. I'm not taking anything from her. She's giving up something of her to serve me. I'm giving up something I want to serve her. And now we're meeting in the middle for it. And so that's what the relationships have to be about, serving and giving oneself to each other.
And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And I think like it's interesting too, like, because when you say things like that, like I think each person, each person should look at each, I guess, whatever is going on, look at the situation and say, is my temporary discomfort in this situation or my temporary hurt worth extremely difficult outcome? Like, is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
What can you compromise on? What are things that you can't compromise on? So just taking like that little inventory of what's happening and assessing the situation and seeing, okay, is it worth it, or okay, I can let this one go.
And that kind of goes into my other easy tip to make it easier, is the perspective. Like, take the long view. If we're talking about something, if there's like, babe, I want to take this vacation this year, but we've been talking about buying our first home. Take the long view of, hey, do I want to have this vacation of a week of, great relaxation, or am I willing to compromise and say, wow, but I want to, in 5 years, I want to be living, or in 3 years, I want to be living in our own home and not in an apartment.
So maybe we can go on a weekend trip,
maybe a weekend trip, or we save this money to get it, and now we go in the house the year after we then bought the house. So because now we then use that money to get the down payment, whatever it may be, you guys come into a decision. But looking at it in a different perspective and the long view, as well as looking at it in the other person's being perspective, or Hope said, walk in her shoes. Walk in my shoes. So being able to look at it from their perspective, from their viewpoint, how are they looking at it? What are they valuing? Being able to say, okay, step back a little. How is she feeling in this situation? Why is she thinking like that on whatever it may be? And when you can understand that, it's easier to say, okay, I can give up whatever I'm trying, the agenda I'm trying to, or put this to the side so we can meet in the middle in something.
And I think it's interesting, kind of shifting gears, unless you had something else to contribute to that first part.
No, I think that's good. I think it's at the end of the day, it's creativity. Like, you're gonna have to, it's gonna be it's gonna push the mind. It's gonna exercise the mind when you have to do that, because now you're gonna have to think, all right, if I can't do it my way, and you're like, I can't do it my way, we have to be creative on how can we meet in the middle. So it exercises the mind a little bit.
Absolutely. And you have to just
be willing to work.
That's what I'm saying. Be willing to work.
Put the work in.
And realize that, okay, is my relationship worth the work? That's when we always say marriage is work.
It's work.
So you got to think of ways.
Work. Okay.
Moving on. So I think to switch gears a little bit, because I always hear people say, like, I have no's and I'm not compromising and I don't want to lose myself, right? And people say that often. And it's not that compromise, if it's healthy compromise, it should never subtract anything from yourself. If it's healthy compromise, I'm not losing myself at all. And I think it's just something that your spouse or your partner should never ask you to compromise on anything that would have you lose yourself or feel like you're never being heard, or that they're feeling disrespected, or that they're always getting their way or always having their way. I think that can be unhappy and sometimes maybe looked at as a form of manipulation.
So when it ain't compromise, if you feel like you're losing yourself, it may not be compromising, it just may be manipulation on the partner's side of things.
That's all I'm saying.
So I think for me, you kind of hit all the points I was thinking about when it comes to, like, how you can tell if it's no longer compromise and there's manipulation. There's the one piece of, do you feel disrespected in the piece?
Right.
Are you telling somebody they're not valid to have their opinion about this and it doesn't matter,
right,
and we're gonna do it my way? That's just disrespectful on their
absolutely
hand. Two, like, are you not allowing them to bend a little bit? Like, are you now taking away what they know?
Right.
And saying what they know or who they know or people they deal with, whatever it may be, you like just take that away from them.
Right.
So they can't even, you give them no access.
Right. Right.
The third one you kind of mentioned was the beliefs, yourself, your core values.
Right.
If you're changing who you are and your core values and your core beliefs,
you're no longer authentically yourself. And that's a problem.
That's not compromising. No. That's manipulation. Like,
yeah,
you should always be able to still come to an agreement and know both parties' core values and beliefs. Which, especially if you're married, that should start be similar and joined together anyway. So now it's like, my values should be in play here. And then at the end of the day, the future, and that may have been the only thing we hit. No compromise should alter my future. Where I'm now saying you can't go follow your dreams.
Right.
Because of such and such. And we're not making a compromise to do it. It's like, nope, your dreams are in the trash and we're going to do this.
Yeah. And I think if it ever gets to that point, you need to whoa, stop. We need to have a conversation. We need to reevaluate. We need to have a conversation because this is just not fair for me that you're getting your way. I'm not feeling heard. I'm not feeling respected. Like, that's when you have to say, this is no longer compromise. Yeah. This is manipulation. And that is very unhealthy and something we would never wish a person would be in that situation. So I think if it ever gets to that point, you need to reevaluate, have a conversation, and figure something out.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think at the end of the day, if you and your spouse or partner are ever having trouble with those type of things, we say maybe you have to have a third party to come in and go see somebody to talk about this, and so that mediator can be able to hear both sides and then be able to allow both of you to talk about it in a safe space, and then they'll help each side being heard sometimes. So sometimes that may be needed, and that can be okay.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid of it. So anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Compromise. It's a thin line between compromise and manipulation. So let's make sure we are compromising, that we are looking at the third option. We are being creative. We are looking at it in the long view. We are respecting each other's opinions and differences, and we're coming together with the same values, the same thoughts, and we're giving of ourselves to the other so that we can come to a mutual decision on any issue or thing we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I like it.
Absolutely.
So if you liked it, let us know. What do you like to what do you compromise on?
Yeah.
Have you felt like you're not compromising, you're being manipulated, or whatever it may be? Drop some knowledge on us down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe and check out all our other videos. Until next time, we love you. Peace.